Welcome to Redraft Rehab. This is your number one spot to get your fantasy advice to win those leagues, to make sure you're making the right decisions, to ensure that you yourselves are bringing home the bacon and the title at the end of the year. I'm sitting here with my good friends, my good fellas, my good league mates.
Charlemagne, we live?
Always technically, we're recording, so we're not live, but that's coming soon. We'll get there.
Close
My
enough.
name is Pope. I'll be a illustrious host for this evening and for this podcast. However, what we're going to do is swing it around the horn to my good man Therm Nation. Introduce yourself, sir.
It is me. Third Nation in the house. Chris Jones.
All right, and Brady.
It's Brady. He already said it, but you call me B. So let's get it.
Hey man, we are all in a
Start
home league.
chill.
We all do have our own type of philosophies when it comes to drafting. You'll find that out as we keep on moving down this road with this pod, and hopefully you can kind of get some strategies, learn what you kind of do. Me personally, I am a hero running back type of drafter, but I'm swinging more to just wide receiver league. It's a passing league, so a lot of times I like to swing wide receivers. We'll get into some of our favorite strategies amongst Therm, right? What's your favorite strategy right now? What's winning you the leagues in 2025?
There is only one strategy, and it is draft running backs. Draft running backs. Draft running backs. Why? You get yourself three starters. I guarantee you could swap one of them for something that you probably shouldn't have. Let's say who's a little secret starter this year. That's only Pollard. You might be able to swap him for somebody as good as like a Mike Evans. You never know. You
Okay,
find
so
somebody
hero
desperate
running
enough.
back stash for the trade ransom. Not mad at that. Not mad at that. Hey B, let me know
Hero
what's
running
the
back.
strategy
All right.
that's going to win in 2025.
Uh, kind of like what Chris said, the running back strategy, but also I kind of don't follow that strategy as much. I personally draft a certain way, so but I'm not going to say that out loud because I don't want you guys to know my secrets.
Well, we got to get the fans what they need to win their with their leagues, man.
Well,
So I
like
mean,
Chris said, heavy running back, especially in the
okay. Hero
12-man league.
RB, I know for a fact you're a bold faced lie based on our previous history in here.
Oh, absolutely. But no, I do no, but the thing is I actually do agree with that philosophy. I just
Oh
when it
yeah.
comes draft time, my anxiety kicks in and then
Take what
I
the
got
board gives
against
you.
pretty
If
much.
you're on the
I,
top
I,
three
I
picks, all three picks should be running backs. If you're picking a wide
That's not
receiver,
necessarily true.
good luck.
okay, that's hero
Good
running
luck.
back on steroids. Well, that's
Good
gonna
luck.
that's gonna transition us into
Good
what I
luck.
think is going to be a good topic, which is going to be we just had the NFL draft, fellas. We have a lot of new blood into that redraft pool that we're all going to be subjected to after the preseason. But the draft just happened. We didn't see too many star-studded offensive guys that are just going to like win you leagues, or did we? I'll swing it around the horn. B, I'll start with you. Who's a rookie league winner in your opinion?
In my opinion, I'm not gonna go with the obvious, but I'm gonna go with what is it, Amari Hampton for the Chargers is a
Oh,
one
okay.
because the
Not a lot of competition in that backfield.
not a lot
Uh,
of
uh,
competition and the philosophy with Harbaugh is run the damn ball and play defense. So he's definitely going to get a ton of touches.
Greg Roman's system. I mean, he's basically there with just him and Najee Harris. Are you worried about Najee Harris being a goal line stealing running back too?
It's possible, but I think because Hampton has a little bit more burst, so Najee might get more goal line touches, but I think Hampton overall is going to have the yards, catches, and touchdowns. So I think eventually throughout the season, he'll be the primary number one. So I
Yeah,
wouldn't be
good home
worried
run
too much
hitter.
about. I wouldn't worry too much about Najee. Maybe to begin the season, but after like week 4 or 5, I think that would change.
Okay, I'm not mad at that. I actually like that a lot. Therm, who is your favorite league winner out of the rookie class that just got drafted? Who's some of your favorite fits or fit?
I mean, I would go with one of the two tight ends. Tyler Warren's better, but what's the other guy's
Okay.
name? Cortland
Colston Loveland,
Colston. There we go.
who actually got
He's
taken
actually
before Tyler Warren. That was the consensus blue chipper. So a little bit of a reach
yeah.
maybe by Chicago.
No, I think he's in a
Probably
better
better fit.
position to be able to do something halfway in the season. I don't think get anything from him in the first half of the season, but the second half he'll come on strong because Cole Komet is the definition of hot and cold. So I think this guy will take over pretty early and pretty quickly.
All right, all right. I think we're. I mean, we don't want to overdo it. The reason why I think that I like both of those picks by both B and Therm is because right now you're getting those players at steal rates, right? Hampton is still going outside of the first few running backs. Right now, I believe he is seen really as
In the 20s, I
kind of
think.
middle of the pack. So I think you'll end up getting him a lot later in drafts. Um, he's definitely a rookie that I think has just tremendous upside, right? So he's sitting at the back half of the round 2-3 turn for most drafts so far. That's going to change obviously as we get closer to the season, but he's sitting in between a David Montgomery, a Aaron Jones, and a Tony Pollard, right? So I think that level of back and him still being a starter is going to be, tremendous value, right?
Yeah.
I don't
Um,
know if he'll get numbers, especially Montgomery, but we'll see.
And Montgomery's coming off of an injury at the end of the year. So we still got to see what that's going to be like. So and so was Aaron Jones. So a lot of that is baked into the ECR right now. Colston Loveland is sitting in the middle of the pack, right? At 15 overall for tight ends. Um I I
Actually,
I think that's a good spot, right?
Especially if you already got commit there.
because
So
it's
Yep.
generally rookie tight ends they generally struggle. Like Brock was a unicorn, and then I mean I guess what's his face was also lucky too. Detroit.
Sam Laporta the year before.
Yeah,
I
his
wouldn't
rookie
say
year
it's
was
lucky.
Really
good.
touchdown dependent
It's
though, I will
kind of been
say
a
that
trend
year.
for a lot of
Well,
these
he
rookie
put up
tight
like
ends.
800 yards, I think, but fair. It was very touchdown dependent. It was.
He became tight end one just based on the touchdowns. And to me, Colston Loveland, I do like Tyler Warren a little bit more. Tyler Warren's in Indianapolis. Colston
But his
Loveland,
quarterback
although
play is
Indianapolis has
horrible.
a shaky quarterback, Colston Loveland is going to a very crowded wide receiver receiving
Or pass
like
catching room.
targets. Like, yeah, they're going to be all over the place for Chicago.
Even
So
with Swift.
that's my only
Yeah,
like
but
concern there. Um, as far as mine, I mean, we're missing the obvious two. I think the two, I think there's two with the most upside, and one is not named Travis Hunter, who went two overall.
I mean,
I
yeah.
think Ashton Genty is going to have a monster year. There's nothing in Las Vegas that says otherwise. Geno Smith is actually a quarterback that they may not stack the box for per se because you still have to respect him as a quarterback and how he can get the ball down the field. So I think Genty has just clear runway. Like if we're just talking about who's going to get the lion's share out of the rookies, there's no competition. I think he's going to be just through the roof for that. And then I like Tet. Um, he's a big target for a small quarterback. Simple. Carolina's not going to be up in a lot of games, and I think Tet is going to end up being one of those guys that whether he's good, whether he's bad, they're going to pepper him with targets, and he's going to end
I
up with
think
a
he's going
lot.
to have, he might not have a lot of yards, but he might have a higher touchdown rate because of
Oh yeah,
his size pause.
red zone for sure. I think he'll be that target hog in that offense. Because who are you really sharing this room with? You know what I mean? You're sharing this room with who they considered a first round bust last year, and Xavier Leggett.
Like, yeah.
You got Adam Thielen still walking around, so it's like, I know that system. Most of the production is going to come out of the slot, but you drafted a 6'4" guy, you're going to use him. So
I heard
I like
Greg
those
Olson.
two. I like those two. Those are the two that I think or have some really good value, depending on where you pick them, right? But one that I think is going to be an absolute league winner that is going completely under the radar is the man with one of the fastest draft times, Matthew Golden for the Green Bay Packers, taken at the back of the first round, right? Number 23 overall. They have a plan for him. He's going to an offense that has a good OC, has a good offensive mind running it. Jordan Love is going to throw the ball. Yes, Josh Jacobs got absolutely ran to the ground last year, and they gave him every piece of usage in that offense. But from what I can see, Matthew Golden has a clear opportunity with a whole entire wide receiver room of just guys, right? They keep trying to
Sure.
tell us that Romeo Dobbs is a guy, that Jaden's a guy, that uh,
My
what's his face
problem
that
is
keeps
Jordan
getting
Love.
hurt,
Christian Watson.
Christian
My
Watson,
problem.
right?
Yeah.
One hamstring McGee. They keep trying to tell us that he's a guy, but I think for Matthew Golden, showing that speed off, getting into this offense, I mean, the sky's the limit. I like that fit. He's dang near free in a lot of leagues right now from a draft perspective. I think that changes in the preseason as soon as he starts pulling off some of those highlights.
I don't
So
disagree with
interesting.
you, but I think the room, even though they have a quote unquote bunch of guys, there's still a decent amount of players in that room. So I don't know about
There's
his
a pecking
production
order for sure. There's a pecking
because in
order.
that offense they actually spread the ball around, even though it doesn't seem like it. So that would
But
be,
I
and he's a
like if
rookie.
you look at Christian Watson, his the routes that they're giving him and his ability to stretch the field and get the touchdowns and do all that. I mean, from a fantasy perspective, if you looked at last year before the season went on, he was the one to get. He was the one that had the highest ceiling and the lowest floor. He just can't stay healthy. But if this kid comes in and doesn't have those problems at all, I mean, I see it going tremendously well.
I mean, as if he's still a rookie and he has to learn the game and learn defenses and all that. So it's and like I'm only skeptical because of the lion's share of catches he will get in that room, and he's a rookie.
Fair,
I'm
very fair.
skeptical of Jordan Love. Sorry.
And Jordan
I
Love
think
has games where he's inconsistent, but still is great at the same time, which is kind of weird.
I project this could be a Xavier Worthy like experience where he's starting a little slower out the gate, but by midseason, by the time you're gearing up for those fantasy playoffs, I think he'll be cooking at that point. That's how I see it. I think he'll clear out the room. Half of them will probably be injured by the time midseason is because that's the type of guys they have in that room. And then after that, I think he'll be golden. No, no pun.
let's keep in mind Jordan Love's not Patrick Mahomes, and your head coach ain't
Very true.
Andy Reid.
Very true. Still two potent offenses,
Yeah,
and
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 they
the
both West Coast, so they're going to use them. They're going to utilize the skill. So
100%, 100%.
Listen,
Um, I mean that those are some of our favorites that I think is going to be impactful. What I will pose a question to the group is, I mean, we had quite a few rookie quarterbacks being drafted. We talked on a pre-pod episode, right? Cam Ward is number one overall at Tennessee. You got Jackson Dart, maybe in a competition or with the Giants now. You have Tyler Shuck, who is really battling Derek Carr's doctor at this point to get a starting job with the New Orleans Saints. You have Shador Sanders, who's in a five-man competition right now for the Cleveland Browns starting job. I mean, even Jalen Milroe is in Seattle. Like, I mean, Sam Darnold's who they gave the money to, but we do remember there was a time that Matt Flynn got a big contract in the offseason, and then they drafted this guy by the name of Russell Wilson who beat him out before the preseason ended. So, in your opinion, is there any quarterback situation that you like to be draftable this year
no.
no, I
Talking
don't
about for
think
the
that at
rookies?
all.
for the rookie quarterbacks?
Not
No,
draftable,
no,
no.
not one.
Hmm.
I don't think Cam is going to have a great rookie year, and the rest of them, top end, what's his face, Dart. He ain't even going to see the field until the coach gets fired. So yeah, and then that show kid, he might see the field. It ain't gonna mean nothing. And Milrow,
If Milrow gets
Yeah,
on the field, that excites me. If he can get on the
just
field.
all he does is run.
yeah, but his accuracy is scoring, so I don't.
That's
I'm
what I'm
not.
saying.
I mean, yeah,
He can't
it'll just
run.
be another what's his name from the Colts, Anthony Richardson type of.
Yep.
It might be worse from a
It
I
passing
might be
mean,
better
standpoint.
based on
because
how
he's
they
in a
got
From a
drafted,
passing
they're
standpoint,
projecting it
oh
should be
yeah,
worse, right? Based on where they got drafted. Anthony Richardson, obviously
yes.
a first round quarterback. Jalen Milrow got taken a lot later, right? But I think he has the most potential of the current rookie quarterbacks because you have to add in the
oh
ability to
no, he
rush.
definitely has the most potential. He has probably the biggest arms, probably the most athletic, probably the most exciting. So, but he's still very inconsistent and his mechanics are horrible. So,
Now, with that being
Yep.
said, right? So if we agree, none of the quarterbacks are quote unquote draftable in a redraft structure, you do have offenses that are now going to be ran by shaky quarterback situations. Out of those quarterback rooms, you have the Giants, the Saints, Tennessee. I won't count Seattle. Uh, Maybe even Pittsburgh, who kind of left the draft
Cleveland.
without a quarterback. Does that which of these current squads are you completely downgrading the type of players that they have? Like they're not even on your board, right? Whether it's the Giants, the
Browns.
Saints,
all of them.
I mean, yeah, really. But it's the Browns the most for me. It's just the org doesn't know what it's doing at all.
well, you do
And
have with the Browns, you do have I mean, you
Cleveland's
have
a
some running backs. You have Judkins there as a rookie, right? Nick Chubb, we'll see what ends up happening with him. You still got David Njoku, who consistently finishes as a top 10 tight end. And then
I
Jerry
mean,
Judy
I mean,
had that
well,
shooting star moment last year. So are
Jameis
you
Winston.
consider? I mean, yes, he did have a gunslinger right there, right? But Joe Flacco is right
No.
now in a competition with Kenny Pickett to win the starting job.
Joe's going to win.
To be honest with you, both of them should get cut. There's no reason why Joe Flacco is on a roster in 2025 to start the
Oh,
season. To
I don't.
start
I mean,
the
he's
season.
on Cleveland.
Sure, you can put him on your roster in November. I get that, something happened, but there's no reason that Joe Flacco
Oh, I don't know, because
should be your
I'm not
starting
the biggest
quarterback
fan
in
of Joe Flacco,
2025.
but he's been balling these past couple of seasons
No,
when he
he
played.
hasn't.
Yes, he has.
He has
From
not.
a stats
Why did he get benched
perspective,
then?
he's been okay. From a
Why did he
wins
get benched then?
perspective, he
At 40
hasn't.
years old,
But
The boy throws like 2 picks a game. He's not
but
good.
I will say in
I ain't say he was good.
Cleveland, when he played for Cleveland, they did
You
go on
mean
the streak at
last
the end of
year
the season.
when
No, he
he
was with
got
the Colts
benched
last
in
year.
Cleveland? Oh yeah, he was with the
That's what I
Colts.
said the
Yeah,
last
he
couple of
got benched
years.
there too.
Correct.
First time
But
one
no,
twice.
he didn't get benched in Cleveland. He finished the season, they went to the
No,
playoffs
I
and
said
lost.
I'm talking about the Colts. He got benched
No, well,
in
yes.
Indy.
But they have Anthony Richardson there,
Yeah,
and
that's the only
Anthony was
reason
healthy
why he
again.
got
So
benched, because you're going to have to start your first round starting
but
quarterback.
He was playing
irregardless,
after too.
you do
That's
have
why he got
those
benched.
offenses, right? So you're talking about a Malik Neighbors for the Giants. You're talking about a
I
JSN
would
for
think
Seattle. You're talking about Chris Olave for New Orleans. You're talking about, there's a couple of different DK Metcalf is in Pittsburgh right now, right? Like, how
right.
far does he have to fall due to a shaky quarterback situation? Who are you
Extremely.
more comfortable with out of these groups? Is Calvin Ridley draftable to you for Tennessee?
I'm more
Yes.
comfortable with Malik Neighbors, if anything.
Yeah, them too. Malik
Okay.
Neighbors, I draft Malik. Calvin Ridley, I would take a flyer on him way late, but yes.
Okay.
Now in
I don't mind.
Pittsburgh, them two boys, until Rodgers signs on, them two boys, I don't, it ain't worth it. You're gonna take Metcalf in like round 5, and you're gonna regret it for like a month.
Right now, Metcalf is going in the back of the fourth round. So good guess. He is currently wide receiver 27, sandwiched between
He It's funny.
Jameson Williams, Chris Godwin, and yeah, those will be the two that he's in between right now.
If Rodgers signs, then yes, those two become draftable again. But no Rodgers, I mean, they're going to be drafted, sure, but I'm just saying, whoever does it, you ain't going to
The
start them.
If you believe the rumor today, which I'll swing it to B if you believe it, the rumor is Rodgers and Pittsburgh, both of them are playing hardball with each other, and Pittsburgh is now focusing their attention on a potential Kirk Cousins trade.
I
Do what
mean,
you will with that information if you believe it or not, but I'll swing it to you. B reaction.
if they take well, if they trade for Kirk Cousins, then like Chris said, they're still draftable. But I'm not like putting my eggs in my all my eggs in one basket for them too.
Okay. I mean,
DK is a good receiver, but he's still inconsistent. He drops a lot of passes. His route running is questionable, and yeah, he's even with Geno, he was missing in action a lot of the time. So it's like, and Kirk Cousins is a limited version of himself, especially off the Achilles injury. So, and Pittsburgh's offensive line is okay, I guess. So,
mhm.
and the running game. So I don't know. I got a lot of questions.
That is true. That is very true. And good point. I mean, I'm looking at where you can get a DK, and I'm looking at where you have to draft Neighbors. Neighbors is sitting at wide receiver 7. He's a first round pick.
Oh, absolutely. Regardless of who's quarterback, because they're going to
If
get
they're
him the
going to
ball.
force it,
It's so right now you got Russell, you got Jameis, and then Jackson Dart. All three
And
of
they
them,
both
the
throw
volume is
well.
going to be there,
The
right?
first two definitely could throw the
yeah,
ball down the field. So Malik
exactly. Like,
Neighbors
that's
is
why I'm
one.
not worried about it. Russ is going to get him the ball. Jameis will get him the ball.
So
That's it.
I'll ask both of you this question: if Malik Neighbors is the pick for you on your team, round one, that means you're starting your team off wide receiver 1.
I
How
would not.
quickly do you double up at wide receiver to ensure it? Do you do that turn and make sure I take another top end wide receiver to offset that? Or are you comfortable with Neighbors being a wide receiver 1 and going running back, for example?
Oh, I'm personally not taking Neighbors with my first pick.
But I'm saying you have to, right? In this situation, you've taken
I'm double.
Neighbors with your first round pick. Are you doubling up at the turn at another wide receiver, or do you think I'm good? I can get another one in the third?
Just take a wide receiver at that point.
I don't know. It depends on the board, but I guess double up because actually no, I'd probably take a running back.
I mean, I think the conventional wisdom would probably, yeah, I think you can go either way, right? So I'll read the next 3 wide receivers after Neighbors, right? Just because you'll probably have a shot at one of them. Next 3 wide receivers after Neighbors in ECR is AJ Brown, Drake London, Lad McConkey, and then Jackson Smith and Jigba and T. Higgins are basically tied. So if you take Neighbors, those are your kind of options right there for a wide receiver 2. But there's a lot of good running backs that are kind of at that turn as well. So now you're faced with, do I take a low end RB1 to pair with Malik Neighbors, or do I double up for the insurance?
Well, like I said before, I'm taking a running back.
All right, RB hero strategy still works, guys. I mean, it's
I'm taking a
there.
running back for the simple fact that Malik Neighbors, he's going to have games, so he'll hypothetically, I think he'll have games where he'll compensate for 2 receivers instead of one, if that makes sense. So you might can afford to wait another round to get a receiver and just draft a running back. Because I feel like you would need to balance your team out. If you go heavy wide receiver, then you'll probably miss out on the chance or at least a B plus running back.
Or
And
you're
then I'll
going
put you,
zero RB build, right? So if I'm going zero RB, meaning I don't take a running back until round 5 or later, right?
then you're going to lose, in my opinion.
But that's been the more popular strategy as of late. More in PPR more in full point PPR leagues.
But how many
Um,
people have won with that philosophy?
I don't have a number off the top of my head, but I would imagine if it's popularized, then it's probably a good amount.
I think
right?
it's popularized more because we have multiple wide receivers out there, and I'm assuming that a lot of people are running at least 2 to 3 receivers minimum on team. So I think that's the reason why it's popular. I don't think it's popular because you're winning. I
Yeah.
think it's popular because
Side note,
the
y'all
plethora of
stop doing
receivers.
full point PPR leagues. That is childish. Okay, you do half or you do standard. Full point PPR leagues is just nothing but you little slot merchants and screen boys. Right, that's all that is. All right, that's not real fantasy football. I just need to get that PSA out of there. Right, but I will say the zero RB build in our own league has won at least twice in recent memory. So
Cool.
uh well, we can't, I'm not going to say names on the pod, but
Well,
Darian, I said the name on the pod. So Darian is famous for his zero RB build. That was
but that
something
was
that he
like
did in
three,
the
4 years
past.
ago.
Shout out to Darian. I mean, that's recent memory, brother. And then Julian has also won with a zero RB build
Right?
when
Didn't
it
he
came
want?
down to it.
He had
Yeah, but then they both made trades. I'm pretty sure.
Correct. They ended up with, well, Darian didn't make trades.
Julian
He just ended
is
up the year
Julian.
that.
Well, not to. I'm sorry to put his name out there, but Julian is very consistent at drafting running backs first.
So this is our home league, by the way, that we're talking about. We are all in our own home league that we've been running for the last 15 plus years. So we do have recent history of a little bit more wide receiver heavy builds. I may not say zero RBs. I do know that Darian went zero RB because that was the year that what's his name? Gadget player. He was in Atlanta at the time.
The
Um
keys.
Cordero Patterson,
Cordell Patterson. That's who I was thinking of. That was the year that he ended
Jesse
up going
Keys.
mad late, and then that was his RB1. But that was kind of that zero RB strategy and stuff where you just dart throwing guys late, man. What can I say?
Yeah,
Um,
it's always running backs, man. Running backs get you the most points.
hey man, I don't hate it. But as far as this NFL draft just went, right? We have a lot of teams changing up things. We have a lot of teams doing, I think, pretty good. As far as the rookies go, it's going to be tough sledding for a couple of these guys to kind of break out. I see a lot of them kind of breaking out a little bit later uh, throughout it.
Drive for
Draft Travis.
I wouldn't draft him high though.
no.
Trevor
I
Lawrence is
mean,
inconsistent, and
He'd be a nice little third wide receiver
Robinson,
flex
Brian
option.
Robinson, to the number one guy over there. He's a dog.
Correct. And that's why Travis Hunter will fit in right on the outside. And they'll make an excellent 1-2 punch.
I mean, right now Travis Hunter is the highest wide receiver for a rookie, right? He's the first one drafted. Right behind him is Tet, though. So he's sitting in between Jalen Waddle, Jordan Addison, Roma Dunze, and Jerry Judy.
And I wouldn't be
I think
shocked
your
if
number
Travis
four hard
outdoes
rookie.
Brian.
So right now it's looking like Travis Hunter is going in most leagues, right? Just and this is just the spit out average after a day. So yeah. In most leagues he's going pick number 33. So you're looking at the middle of the third. Are
It's
you
not bad,
comfortable
but
taking
I think
Travis
he's going to
Hunter?
be good.
If you well, all right, so let's put you on the spot, right? You believe in a hero RB or running back heavy, running back early, right?
Yep.
You've taken two RBs. Travis Hunter is sitting there. Are you making him your wide receiver one?
So I probably would, but I'd look at the board because that's also the same spot where I made DJ Moore wide receiver one, which I understand how that sounds because he's an established wide receiver in the league. But fantasy wise, he's been, kind of up and down.
Well,
So
you had a rookie quarterback last year. You didn't know what you were going to get out of Caleb Williams. They had a crowded
that's
room
also
with
true.
Keenan Allen and Roma Dunze. So yeah, no, that was a risky
Who else
pick
do you
that
want?
worked out.
And poor play calling by the offensive coordinator and coach.
Yep.
Yep. So I mean, I'll put it this way, right? I just read you off some names. So the 3 or 4 wide receivers after Travis Hunter that you would have to choose as your wide receiver one is you have the choice between Travis Hunter, Tet McMillan down in Carolina, Roma Dunze, Jerry Judy, George Pickens, Calvin Ridley. Those are the next couple of names after
I
him.
think you said Addison,
Yeah,
but
I
if you
think
did, I'll put
Addison
Addison
was
before
above
him.
him. I was saying who he was
Okay.
sandwiched in between. So Addison and Waddle were above.
Okay,
I
never
take
mind.
Travis over all of them, including Addison and Waddle. especially.
I don't know about Addison.
I
Addison
mean,
has a good
I
touchdown
like
upside,
JJ
but
McCarthy,
you got a
but
The
new
only reason
quarterback.
I say Addison because Jefferson is going to get double team, and Addison is going to get a lot of
yeah,
opportunities like he did last year.
but
That's the only reason.
Jefferson's
No, I
gonna
know
cook.
Jefferson's going to cook, but I'm saying the opportunities for Addison is going to continue to grow like he did last
And he gets a lot of
That's
red zone
fair.
work because they doubled Justin Jefferson.
He listen, he gets a
He gets
lot
a
of
lot of
trust me.
red
I
zone
had
work.
Justin Jefferson last year. He gets a lot of targets,
Yeah, man.
and
I
it
know.
makes me mad.
But now it's JJ. I like JJ, but this is essentially his rookie year, so we'll see. I mean we know JJ's proof, but I'm talking about Addison. We'll see. But I
Oh yeah, for
personally
sure.
Oh, you
think
We
said
still
Travis
got to
JJ. I
see
Hunter
thought you were
over
talking about
McCarthy.
the
all those
quarterback
numbers.
like JJ
Nah, McCarthy
McCarthy.
still has to prove it, but I
Oh
think
yeah.
regardless, the opportunities will be
Sure,
there for him.
agreed. And
Yeah.
so I would take Brian Thomas before I would take Travis Hunter, just to make that
Oh,
clear.
absolutely. That's
I
not
mean,
even a
he's
question.
gone
But
already.
that's only
Brian
this year.
Thomas is in Malik Neighbors territory at pick
All
8
right. And
overall.
I'm saying that's only this year. I think next year going forward, Travis Hunter is going to be like a top 5, top 10 wide receiver in the league. He's a dog.
It's a lot of good receivers in the league.
It is. There are. But I mean,
I mean,
this
I like
man
the
was a dog
fit.
coming out of
I
high
don't know.
school.
You must
They
got a lot
said,
of faith in your boy Trevor Lawrence.
I like the fit more
I
than
mean,
anything. They do
I
have
have more
Liam
faith
Cohen
in
there as their
Travis
head
Hunter
coach.
in
Liam
being a
Cohen,
generational player.
No,
That's what
I
I'm
agree with
banking on.
that, but Trevor
Yeah.
Lawrence, that boy's
No,
I
awesome.
no,
think
no.
he'll
That's fair.
it's
But
will
I'm
he have
saying,
the
I think
volume, right? And the thing about fantasy is who gets the volume. Brian Thomas Jr. just came off of a tremendous year with a lot of volume for a losing team, right? Liam Cohen is now the new head coach. Liam Cohen was Tampa's former OC. He believes in the slot gets the most work, right? So that's why Chris Godwin started out going crazy last year. And then we had a pivot when Chris Godwin broke his ankle in the Ravens game. So I think Travis Hunter is out of the receivers. I think he's got a good chance to get a lot of volume. Now, if they're still playing with, he's going to come in for nickel packages and play corner on defense, and we're going to rest him and use him more sparingly on offense because we want him to play both ways because he wants to play both ways. That's where I have a problem.
So can I
I don't
speak on
think
that?
he's playing both ways.
Yep.
So can I speak on that?
Yep.
So I 100% think he's playing both ways. It would be foolish for them to not play him both ways.
He's not going to play both
He would be 100%. I'm sorry, not 100%. He would full time at wide receiver, and then yes, just do some packaging at corner. But there's no reason to limit him especially if you go through all the training camp and it's a preseason and you've tried it and it's worked. There is no reason to then in week 1 to go, nah, you're offense only. You're hamstringing not only the player but your team. I mean, if put it like this, on everyone's board, they said about him that if he was solely a wide receiver, he was number 1 wide receiver in the class. They said if he was solely a cornerback, he was a number 1 corner in the class. So like, there's no reason to not use him in both ways. To just be perfectly honest, I
I
think
mean,
if
I
you
get it.
don't,
The reason
it's
is he's smaller too. Like he's
Yeah,
he's not a big guy. So you're
right.
getting into the NFL with I'm going to put you at 2 taxing
physical
positions
spots.
and you're smaller. What I think
Mm-hmm.
is underreported is I don't think he'll end up being a corner this year. And hot take me if you want. I've seen that the Jaguars may put him at center field free safety and let him just be like, look, nothing get beyond 20
Wow,
yards get
that's
beyond your head.
disgusting.
Well,
I
he's
don't
center
know.
field free safety, not in the
No,
box,
I know,
right?
but I think I seen a
So
report today that the Jags are solely going to use him as a receiver only, and that
they
makes the
want
most
to.
sense.
They want to.
I mean,
And
they might, like Chris said, they might have a pack, but
I just saw a Travis Hunter
they would.
commercial for
They're
Adidas
not.
with him saying 2 ways and he's got a clone and all this other stuff. So it's a part of the brand. He's going to
I
try it,
mean,
right?
you got to sell it.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
want full time both sides. That was never an
But
option.
here's the
It's
thing.
just
Here's the
full
thing,
time.
and we'll end on this too. I just want to like make it clear that a nickel corner isn't something you could just deploy like it's a big joker in your deck. Like you need
Right.
rhythm. You can't just run out there cold and be like, I'm going to shut down the
yeah,
slot corner.
he's
And
not
like
playing.
But
It
that's
doesn't
why
make
I
sense
think
for him
they'll
to play
end up putting
defense.
them at free safety center field, and you're there for 3rd and longs when we know they're going to go to the sticks, and we're just going to deploy you on their best weapon, or you'll just be center field and nothing gets behind you, right? That makes way more sense to be a safety in the NFL and wide receiver than trying to do corner and slot corner at that, and then slot wide receiver. Eh, and then also think about it. Nobody's predicting the Jaguars are going to win more than what 6, 7 games. So like you're going to be doing this for a losing team. Like nobody's going to be doing that down 20.
I mean, it doesn't matter losing 10. I mean, it's still look. He's going to play both ways. I do
Correct.
think it'll be at the corner. It won't be at safety. And as far as with your rhythm thing, there that's justified. That's a real thing. And the only combatant thing I could say to that is that I think he's just a generational player, a dog, and it won't matter. I think he can get past that and come out and shut them down being cold. I just think that's the type of player he is. But again, what you're saying is 100% real. It's a justified thing, and it would be a challenge for him, 100%.
Yeah, I feel like it's just too much for a rookie. You got to learn the offense and defense. It's just too much.
And last thing, because the generational thing gets thrown out way too much and it irks me. All right, like in this class, which a lot of people said were lunch pail guys, right? Meaning there weren't
Got a lot of blue
superstars in this class. There were
chip
like
collar
late
players and
round first
stuff.
picks, solid guys, right? They were high floors, but
There's a lot
also
of B
low
pluses out
ceilings.
there, as they will say.
So I like saying you're the best corner and the best wide receiver in this class. Yes, that's an accomplishment. Don't want to diminish that. But it's not like you have a Julio in this class, Deion Sanders in this class, Darrell Revis in this class. Like
Or
those
Malik
players aren't
Neighbors,
in that. They're not in this class.
AJ
So
Brown, AJ Green.
like I can see if you were coming out and being like, this is the next Deion, this is the next Charles Woodson, this is the next AJ Green, Julio Jones. Like you can throw Sammy Watkins coming out of college, not as a pro. But
Right.
but you're just not that. When was the last time you saw a slot wide receiver or a nickel corner get taken at 2 overall?
When's the last time you seen a player play both sides full time?
Not at a
And
Power
dominate.
5.
And
Not
dominate.
at a. I mean,
That was
he
in
played at
college.
Anywhere. You haven't in like decades,
But
bro.
that's college, though.
I know, but
college can
I'm
translate. I don't want to get into
Look,
that. College
No, I
can
know it can
translate.
translate, but it's not realistic in
You
the
did it
NFL.
at Jackson State, brother, and you did it at
Yes.
Colorado. When you played real teams and you played real SEC competition and you played those teams that have recruiting classes and things like that, the dominance wasn't necessarily on display.
Out the window.
It didn't leave. You were still a threat. You were a threat everywhere you were and showed phenomenal instincts. And there's a reason why you're the number 2 overall pick that a team traded up for, right? Don't want to make that like not a thing. But I'm just not of the mind that he's of the ilk of Deion Sanders, of the ilk of Odell Beckham and these type of guys because he can play both. I think he's good. I think he'll be good. But I'm a pause before I say you're great yet at the next level. That's all.
Duh. I mean, I'm not going to call any rookie great before they play the game. I'm just saying what I think he will be. And as far as you made your comparisons that he's not this, he's not. It's because he's completely different from them. They didn't play defense, so you can't compare them to them. And Deion didn't play offense, so you can't compare.
He did.
I get what you're saying.
Deion did play offense.
He played corner, huh?
Deion played the offense in the league.
Not like Travis, bro.
The Cowboys put him in third downs, and he was a wide receiver for the Cowboys. Florida State put him in as well. I'm saying for Deion, just like Charles Woodson, just like there's a couple of guys that have played both at both levels.
Yes, but they did like a play or two in the game.
Correct.
And what he's trying to do is more than that. He's trying to call it 15 snaps on defense a game, which is more than a play or two. You feel me? Like 15
Understood.
snaps, that's about 25% of the game.
He
broke it up over the course of the game.
He can, but you got to ask yourself about diminishing returns with that, right? And so it's like,
no, that's fair.
Am I getting diminishing returns? And will it even be effective? Because if we're the Jags and we're already getting beat by 30, what's the freaking point?
I mean, that's poor logic.
I mean,
if
You
you're
got
getting
it.
beat by
You
30,
got a weapon.
hold on, no, hold on. If you're getting beat by 30 and it's the four, at that point you're benching everybody. So it doesn't matter. That's not a really good starting point.
But I'm
You
saying
get what I'm saying?
I'm talking about diminishing returns. So could it be a reason why we're getting beat by 30 is because we're expecting a guy that's doing something that we've never seen before, which is playing a substantial amount on offense and defense. But for this draft podcast, right? I think he's going to be a very good wide receiver 1, 2 prospect eventually. This year, I gotta see how it plays out before I'm confident to say you're my wide receiver 1 or 2. Right now, I have him as a flex.
Right.
To me, he's a wide
That's what
receiver
I
3.
said. That's exactly what I said. I said that's right. I know I did say I would take him as a one, but
I
I'm
put you in a
saying I did
scenario if you had 2 running
Yeah.
backs, though. But yeah,
correct.
I would say right now for me on my board, if I already have 2 wide receivers, if I already have a running back or 2, then in the flex, I'll do a dart throw. But right now, the where you have to take him, he's either your wide receiver 1 or your high end wide receiver 2, and I just can't float that until I see it.
Yeah, that's
Now in
fair.
the preseason, if he goes off for 200 yards in the first game, then hey man, I'll recant.
Yeah, that's what I'm
That's
saying.
first
Like
game
if
though.
they try it,
We
they just
kind of
got to
have that
try it.
vibe.
Like if
Yeah.
it if it's failing in training camp, then yeah, don't roll it out on Sunday, 100%. But if it's working in training camp and then you roll it into the preseason and it's working, there's no reason to not roll it into the real game. That's all I'm getting at. It's just you just take the baby steps. That's it.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to see it. But that is our episode for this evening. Thank you for staying with us. We appreciate you. We'll have these episodes every Wednesday for you, so that way you can win those fantasy leagues. Bring it on home.
Formation.
All right, fellas.
Yes, sir.